You've never seen this scene in a movie, have you? No clapperboard, no camera, no slow motion. 1973, Hong Kong. Deep inside the Golden Harvest Studios, the heat clings to the air and murmurs cling to the wall. Is Bruce Lee a real fighter, or just a star? A few seconds later, the rumor would be extinguished on its own, not by a speech, but by an impact. In this video, I'm going to show you how, on the set of Enter the Dragon, 3 real-life challenges forced Bruce Lee to prove, in front of hundreds of witnesses, that his mastery was not a myth. We'll go back over the exact context, the witnesses, the techniques, and in the end, I'll reveal a hidden detail that almost no one knows about his way of maintaining control, even when reality spilled over the script. These accounts inform and inspire. They never replace real martial arts training. Let's start with the setting. Summer. Enter the Dragon is the first martial arts blockbuster led by an Asian actor for Hollywood. Golden Harvest produces, Robert Klaus directs. We are talking about several hundred extras gathered for the tournament scenes. The crowded sets, the humidity, the smell of liniment and leather, and a cultural fault line. On one side, local teams attached to the code of traditional kung fu. On the other, Bruce, back from the United States, impeccable English, sharp ideas, and a method that shakes everything up. Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. Less form, more truth. Fewer labels, more efficiency. And that's where the friction began. In Hong Kong at the time, testing someone was not necessarily an insult, it was a rite of passage. If your art is real, it stands up when pushed. If you refuse, something is missing. Bruce knows it. He has already been challenged in America by traditionalists, rival instructors, even bold students. But here, the set is not a private room. Here, every gesture carries authority. If he lets a provocation slide, the next day's choreography could crumble. Linda Lee would recount later that to keep the troupe united, Bruce had to show, not tell. So we plant 3 markers, a countdown, 3, 2, 1, 3 encounters, 3 lessons. 3, the spark. The first one to step forward is not the strongest, but the loudest. Young, nervous, happy to have an audience. Between takes, he lets slip the phrase that makes those who want to believe it laugh. Movie star, not a real fighter. Bruce looks up. No dramatic posture, no tirade. He invites him onto the training mat. No camera, no floor markings, no referee. What witnesses describe is almost disappointing if you mistake fighting for spectacle. The young man's arms fly quickly. Bruce doesn't retreat, he cuts the angle. Distance, timing, interception. Stop hit. A guiding hand, a deflecting forearm, a clean impact. Finish. No ego display, just the clinical precision of a man who knows that example is his only currency of authority. The challenger is not humiliated, he is convinced. And on the set, everyone understands that something has shifted. Why does it work? Because Bruce doesn't attack, he intercepts. That is the key to Jeet Kune Do, cutting the technique at the moment of its birth. In boxing, you would call it a lead straight or a stop jab that beats the opponent. In fencing, it's the parry riposte in the same beat of time. You don't play at I strike, you block. You insert yourself between the intention and the gesture. Bruce sharpened this logic with Western boxing, fencing, a family heritage through his mother. His reading, the Shu Lim Tao of Wing Chun, and a lot of sparring. The result, short, almost invisible movements. The sound of the impact precedes the image. What the sources say about the filming, several accounts agree on the tension and the need to clarify who was leading the dance. The memories of Linda Lee Cadwell, Bruce Lee, The Man Only I Knew, the production notes from Robert Klaus, the making of Enter the Dragon, interviews with close students like Dan Inosanto, and testimonies from cast members like Bob Wall and John Saxon all paint the same picture. A courteous, smiling Bruce, but uncompromising on efficiency and safety. No publicized challenge, no boasting afterwards, just the will to prevent the rumor from becoming sabotage. Tactical lesson number 1. Maintain authority without breaking the man. Bruce strikes to conclude, not to punish. He stops before the knockout. He shows that he can, and chooses not to go further. On a set with 400 people, this is fundamental. Example instructs without dividing. And you already see his common thread: emotional control, economy of movement, safety before pride. But of course, a controlled fire can light another. Those who saw the scene whisper, it was light. It wasn't a real test. And a second man prepares himself. More silent, more technical, very attached to traditional forms. He wants to measure Jeet Kune Do against the ancient codes properly. Not to humiliate, but to verify. The second man does not speak much, no mockery, no outburst. He is a respected professional among the Hong Kong stuntmen. His kung fu is solid, inherited from masters who have taught in temples and back alleys for generations. In his eyes, Bruce is talented, certainly, but too modern, too American, too free. He wants to test honestly, without provocation. And Bruce accepts. Calm, direct, not to prove, but to teach. The set has emptied a bit. The air is thick. The midday light filters through the metal blinds. Bruce steps forward, draws a small chalk circle on the floor, barely 1.50 meters in diameter. He looks his opponent straight in the eyes. We stay here. You can strike 3 times. If you make me step outside, you win. He pauses. And then I strike once. Witnesses would later say that this sentence was enough to silence the murmurs. 3 strikes against 1. The challenge seems unbalanced, but not in the way one might think. The stuntman lunges. First strike, miss. Bruce did not step back, he slipped. A half-foot step, hip rotation, broken angle. Second strike, blocked before it existed. Bruce's arm guides him into the void like a current of water. Third, a desperate effort, a reversal more instinctive than precise. And Bruce strikes. A single strike, short, direct, dry. A controlled explosion. The sound of the contact crosses the room, but the man does not fall. He stops, eyes wide open, the room too. Bruce doesn't smile, doesn't puff out his chest. He simply inclines his head, the circle erased with his foot. Silence. For those who saw the scene firsthand, the most impressive thing was not the speed. It was the control. Not an extra breath, not a muscle unnecessarily tensed. It was not a demonstration. It was a lesson. The main witness, a choreography assistant, would speak of it years later. We understood that Bruce was not just an artist. He inhabited the technique. Every gesture was a decision, not a reflex. Why has this circle duel remained emblematic? Because it summarizes the essence of Jeet Kune Do. In Latin, interceptus means to seize in passing. Jit comes from the Cantonese jit, to cut, to intercept. Kune kun, the fist. Do dao, the way. The same root as the Japanese do in judo or aikido, derived from the Chinese tao. The way, the path of balance. The whole principle is there. Intercept the intent. Cut the intention before it becomes action. The circle in this real scene becomes the metaphor for his philosophy, the perfect control of space and mind. To step out of oneself would be the real defeat. Behind the tension, 2 worlds collide. In 1970s Hong Kong, martial hierarchy was rigid. Respect for elders, form, lineage. Bruce, however, broke this architecture. He taught Americans mixed boxing footwork with Wing Chun strikes, the power of Taekwondo, the philosophy of the Tao. For some, this was a betrayal, for others a revolution. This second duel is thus more than a simple exchange of blows. It's a cultural clash. Tradition versus modernity, code versus freedom. Bruce, standing in his small circle, embodies this new world. One that seeks not to preserve, but to understand. Tactical lesson number 2. Calm is the highest form of speed. In the Chinese internal martial arts, Nei Jia, it is often said that true movement is born of silence. Bruce, who had studied Tai Chi since childhood, had understood this better than anyone. When the opponent accelerates, you slow down inside. You don't try to beat his speed, you redirect it. You become the void that swallows him. This is not a mystical effect. It is a biomechanical reality. Less tension, more reactivity. A relaxed muscle moves faster. Bruce often repeated to his students, "Be water, my friend." Not to be poetic, but because water forces nothing. It adapts, flows, infiltrates. And in that chalk circle, he had just proven it to everyone. But every fire draws its shadow. Some on the set were not convinced. It wasn't a real fight, just a balance test, they said. And among them, a third man, more experienced, more dangerous, prepares to challenge him. He is not playing. It is not a demonstration he seeks. It is the truth. And this time, the silence before the impact will be total. The third man does not laugh. He seeks neither glory nor rumor. He is a seasoned professional from a traditional Southern Kung Fu school. His blows have already marked sets and faces. He is not insolent, he is sincere. He wants to know, is Bruce Lee really as fast, as precise as they say? This is no longer a challenge of ego, it is a quest for truth. The technicians step away. The noise of the filming fades. Bruce steps forward without a shirt, lean muscles, tranquil gaze. The other salutes in the Chinese manner. Closed fist in the palm. Bruce returns the salute. No words, no circle, no framework. The man attacks first. A Hungar-style straight punch followed by a low sweep. Bruce intercepts. Those who were there would later say that they did not truly see the gestures. Only the sounds, the caught breath, a brief shock, then silence. There is a suspended moment. The challenger has time to understand that he has not connected a single time. Bruce, meanwhile, has not moved more than 1 meter. His breathing is stable, his gaze gentle. He bows. The other responds in the same way. The duel is over. No insult, no shout, no spectators yelling in victory, but the entire set knows. At that precise moment, no one doubts any longer. Bruce Lee is not an actor playing a fighter. He is a fighter who happens to know how to act in front of a camera. Tactical analysis, absolute simplicity. This third confrontation is the heart of the legend. Why? Because it reveals the driving principle of Jeet Kune Do, eliminate the superfluous. Bruce said, "It's not the daily increase but the daily decrease. Hack away at the unessential. Every useless blow is a weakness. Every extra movement is a risk." This is the principle of minimal effective motion, the minimally sufficient movement. It is neither dance nor combat. It is living geometry. An angle, a straight line, a point of impact. Everything is calculated to last less than a second. Linguistic root of the word discipline, from the Latin discipulus, student, derived from discere, to learn. The same word that gave disciplina, teaching, method, rigor. Bruce embodies this primary meaning. Not constraint, but constant learning. To be disciplined, for him, is not to obey, it is to improve every day. And in this real fight, the discipline is seen not in the power, but in the restraint. The hardest thing is not to win. The hardest thing is to stop before humiliating. The witnesses, Bob Wall, actor and training partner, would later say, "Bruce could beat all of us, not hard. Easily. When he hit, it was like time slowed down." John Saxon would confide that after this incident, no one ever asked questions about his authenticity again. And Linda Lee, his wife, would recount that he never mentioned it, even to her. For him, it was a day's work, nothing more. This is what makes this story so powerful. It does not come from a press release or a legend written after the fact. It comes from the silence you hear when a man has nothing left to prove. Tactical lesson number 3, control the interior. Every fighter learns sooner or later that the most difficult battle is not external. It is fought between reflex and consciousness. In this face-off, Bruce demonstrates perfect emotional neutralization. No anger, no fear, no euphoria. It is the point of balance where technique becomes instinct, but an educated instinct. Modern neuroscience calls this the flow state. Bruce entered it at will. No tension, no judgment, just pure action, a connection between consciousness and movement. This is what, in classical Chinese, is close to the concept of Wu Wei, acting without forcing. The same philosophical root as the Tao, the natural way. On the set, the effect is immediate. Not a whisper, not a contestation. The stuntmen who had doubted him just days earlier began to listen to him, not out of fear, but out of recognition. They came to ask him for advice on timing, breath, relaxation. Bruce patiently corrected them, showed them how to economize movement, how to make a strike credible without injuring. The filming resumed in a new harmony. Authority was re-established, but not imposed, it was earned. And yet, behind this newfound peace, Bruce himself felt another tension, that of time. His body was at its peak, his mind sharp, but celebrity, pressure, fatigue, everything was mixing. No one knew it yet, but this silent, interior battle would be the last before the greatest one. The one with destiny. Beyond the fight, when silence returned to the set of Enter the Dragon, something had changed. The same men who had questioned his legitimacy a few days earlier were now silent as he passed. Not out of fear, but out of respect. The challenges had ceased, and the rumor had transformed into admiration. Bruce never spoke about these confrontations. No interviews, no anecdotes. Those who tried to talk about them said he always remained evasive, smiling. For him, they were not victories, just reminders. The real fight is self-mastery. And it is precisely this lesson that would permeate the entire film, down to the smallest gestures. The filming after the challenges. The very next day, the rhythm accelerated. The tournament sequences with over 400 extras and stuntmen suddenly became fluid, almost instinctively choreographed. Bruce coordinated each scene like an orchestra conductor. Every blow, every fall was executed with rigor, but without fear. The atmosphere had changed. Doubt had been replaced by confidence. A production assistant recounted that day. "We saw a leader born. Not an actor, not a star, a master." After those fights, everyone worked faster, more focused. Bruce had said nothing. He had shown. Root of the word master from the Latin magister, the one who shows, who teaches by example. Magus, great, and the suffix ter agent. Bruce perfectly illustrates this meaning. He does not command, he demonstrates. His authority comes not from his position, but from his consistency. On set, as in life, he proves that true strength is not domination but clarity. What the three fights truly revealed. At first glance, these are three duels, but in reality, it is a philosophical trilogy. 1. The control of authority. Do not yield to provocation. 2. The control of movement. Do not waste energy. 3. The control of self. Do not strike to win, but to understand. 3 steps toward the same truth, total mastery. And this is where the legend surpasses the man. Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. The term itself is a mental map. Jit, to intercept. Kun, the fist, physical force. Do Dao, the way, philosophy. The fist then becomes a symbol, one that does not destroy but enlightens. Bruce did not invent a style. He abolished the borders between them. He returned martial art to its primal nature, a conversation between two bodies, two wills, two states of consciousness. In the set fights, he embodied this idea. No rigidity, no vanity, just the simplest, truest response to the present moment. Final lesson, what you can take away from it. If you practice, you know it. Fear and ego are the worst opponents. You want to strike to show, to prove. But Bruce teaches you something else. Do not react, respond. It is subtle but vital. Reaction comes from emotion. Response comes from consciousness. And it is this consciousness, cultivated day after day, that makes the difference between violence and art. Bruce said, "Under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training." These 3 duels demonstrated it live. Faced with provocation, he did not fall into ego. Faced with danger, he did not yield to fear. Faced with victory, he did not seek glory. He remained himself. And this is the true victory, the legacy of Enter the Dragon. When the film was released in 1973, it was a global shockwave. The first martial arts blockbuster to unite Hollywood and Hong Kong. An Asian man as a universal hero. But behind the cameras, the real masterpiece was not filmed. It was the invisible discipline of a man who taught without words. The 3 challenges remained secret for years, recounted in hushed tones by witnesses, and yet they explain everything about why Enter the Dragon breathes truth. Why every strike seems real. Why, 50 years later, the film retains that unique intensity. Beyond the legend, most myths grow with time. That of Bruce Lee, however, purifies itself. The more we rediscover him, the more we understand that his true message was not in strength, but in lucidity, in his ability to confront without hatred, to dominate without injury, to inspire without speaking. He did not just change cinema, he changed the way of thinking about combat. Before him, people sought to conquer. After him, they seek to understand. So, I ask you the question. Today, in a world saturated with images and certainties, how many of us could face a real challenge? Not with our fists, but with calm, and emerge as lucid as Bruce Lee? Tell me what you think in the comments. And above all, never forget, the noblest fight is not against the other. It is the one we wage to remain the master of ourselves.